Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Tori. It's Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022. And we begin with a new study hitting just the right note for kids who like to listen to music while doing their homework. According to a survey of 2,000 Americans done for Colorado State University Global, those who listened to tunes while studying reported better grades and a higher overall GPA. 81% said having music in the background made their learning experience more enjoyable, while 75% said it helped them absorb information. So, what was the preferred playlist? 31% chose classical, while country and rhythm and blues each got 28%. A program director at Colorado State said she encourages students to explore all different genres of sounds to discover what may be the best fit for them. He's hinted at it, and now it's official. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the man who has been the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease for 38 years, has just announced he will be stepping down. The 81-year-old first joined the National Institute of Health in 1968 and has been an advisor to 7 presidents, starting with Ronald Reagan. But he really became a household name in 2020 as the key government official sharing information about the coronavirus with the public. Dr. Fauci said in an interview with the New York Times that he'll leave in December and he plans to pursue the next chapter of his career, though he didn't say exactly what that would be. The sky is the limit for astronaut Nicole Anapu-Mann. NASA has just announced she will go to the International Space Station on September 29th, making her the first Native American woman in history to travel to outer space. Mann is of the Wailoki of the Round Valley Indian tribe, and she will be the flight's mission commander. Ms. Mann said she's very excited about the trip, telling the BBC, "It's important we communicate this to our community so that other Native kids realize that some of those barriers that used to be there are really starting to get broken down." And in a tribute to her heritage, she said she'll bring a dream catcher to the space station, one that her mother gave her when she was young. According to the Indigenous Foundation, dream catchers symbolize unity and provide protection. After a 3-year absence due to the pandemic, the Pokemon World Championship was held this past weekend in London. It was the first time the offline competition was held in Europe. 5,000 players from all over the world gathered to compete for 4 days in a variety of Pokemon tournaments, with 5 champions emerging from each Master Division category. The event offered prize money totaling $1 million, with competitors from 1st to 16th place taking home some cash. And at the end of the event, it was revealed the Pokemon World Championship 2023 will be held in Yokohama, Japan. A farmer who supplies his town with fresh produce also happens to be in 7th grade. In fact, 12-year-old Braden Nadeau started helping out on the family farm in Minot, Maine, when he was just 2. Now he does most of the work on the 25 acres, caring for livestock and planting, tending, and harvesting the crops to sell at his vegetable stand that he set up with his own money. He posts live updates on Facebook about what's fresh each day, including corn, cabbage, and tomatoes. In the summer, he works about 10 hours a day, and during school, he'll put in about 4 hours of work each afternoon. Braden says he enjoys all of it, even getting up at 5 in the morning. He tells the Washington Post, "I'm not into video games or goofing around on my phone like some of my friends. I'd rather be busy on the farm." That's it for KidNuz. Now, the KidNuz quiz. Students who do what are more likely to get better grades, according to a new poll? Listen to music while studying. When is Dr. Anthony Fauci stepping down from his government role? In December. How is astronaut Nicole Anapu-Mann making history? She will be the first Native American woman in space. Where was the Pokemon World Championship held this year? In London. In our KidNuz Kicker, it was a special teacher-student reunion, 23 years in the making. Back when Jamal Jan Kuchai was in second grade, he couldn't speak a word of English, having moved with his family from Pakistan to California. But his teacher, Susanna Lung, spent many hours after school to help him learn the alphabet, and by the end of the year, he was completely fluent. Mr. Kuchai went on to become a successful writer and author, but he never forgot the impact of Mrs. Lung. He mentioned her in an article that someone shared with his former teacher, and after a few phone calls, they recently met at one of his book signings. There were a lot of hugs and happy tears. Mrs. Lung insists her efforts weren't out of the ordinary. She tells the Washington Post, that's just what teachers do. And she said Jamal wanted to learn. That makes it easy. As for the former student, he said he felt like he was a 7-year-old kid again, giving his beloved teacher a big hug that he'd been waiting to do for over 20 years. Before we go, we want to give a big KidNuz shout out to some of our amazing teachers and their students, including Mrs. Eastman, who says hey to her 5th grade Holy Spirit Rams at Holy Catholic Church in Indianapolis, Indiana. In California, Mrs. Utes and her Knights at North Park School in Valencia, and Mrs. Dillon and her awesome 4th graders at Pearl Zenker Elementary in Milpitas. Mrs. P. at Wycliffe Progressive Elementary in Upper Arlington, Ohio, along with her kind and hard-working team, 214. And Mrs. Pritchett and her Lions at Sedalia Elementary in Mayfield, Kentucky. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we hope you tune in for more KidNuz tomorrow morning.